Hello everyone. Well, today unfortunately I won't be unboxing a vacuum cleaner, but I will be showing you one. I'm not unboxing it because that job was done for me probably 30 years ago, sometime in the 90s anyway. Somebody unboxed this vacuum cleaner and probably threw the box away. No, it's not in a box because it was brought around to my house by the seller. He offered to bring it round instead of posting it, and to be honest, I'm pretty glad he did. The colour of my polo shirt is obviously a hint as to the colour of the vacuum cleaner, but of course the thumbnail on this video will show you what we're going to look at. Yes, it's a Hoover Turbopower. Oh, yes, I'm pretending to make the noise of the vacuum because I've not actually plugged this in yet. I'm saving that for the video. But when the chap took this out of the boot of his car, I was pretty pleased with it on the whole. It looked far better in real life than it did on the eBay listing. It was a buy it now. This does need a new cable. It has been damaged in quite a few places, so I will be a little bit careful turning this on for the first time. I've got a new cable on the way, and I have given this, to be honest, a little bit more of a wipe down, so it does look even better, but still this is its pre-refurbished state because it was absolutely covered in some fine dust. It could be plaster dust, which we all know is very bad for vacuums, or I believe this did belong to a deceased relative, so I'm hoping it isn't his ashes that I've wiped off the inside of this machine, but well, if it is, it is. Okay, let's focus in a bit more on this cleaner and we'll have a look at what I think could be one of the very last Turbopowers from Hoover. When this cleaner was in the shops or the Argos and Index catalogues, it would have been sold alongside the Turbopower 2, I believe, and possibly the Pure Power. I think this is a very later version. It has a 600 watt motor. The original Turbopowers had a 400 watt motor with a 10 watt addition for the headlamp. Obviously there's no headlamp on this. This is basic bare bones. In fact, it's the total system version of a cleaner I showed you on my channel a while ago. I've got this in a sort of a dark blue color that I bought new in the box. So it'll have basically the same features or lack of features that that cleaner had. I'm going to start with underneath because I haven't really looked very closely at the underside of this cleaner. There'll be no surprises, I don't think. So as you can see, we're on very familiar territory. If you've watched my channel for a while and seen me upend many of these turbo cleaners, whether it be Turbo Juniors, Turbo Powers, even the Turbo Master, they're very similar. This is the Agitator. That's moving up and down a bit. Let's have a look why. I'm not sure why that is. I'll tell you why that is, folks, and it's a good job, but that's broken. It's a good job. I'm going to have to show you a bit more than I was expecting to. This has been removed, possibly to change the belt, and they've not put the base plate back on properly, and they might have thought, oh, it's not picking up anymore, let's get rid. But the simple fact they've not located the front of the nozzle plate into the lugs here, so I'll just get the screwdriver and we'll correct that problem now. Okay, that's the last screw undone. There are 4 screws to undo on this. Oh no, sorry, there are 5 screws on this because it's a total system. So we have a 5th screw there. I think they're all the same size. Yes, they are. I do have a new base plate for a total system if needs be. In fact, I might fit a new base plate just really for the fact that that bit in the middle is broken. Bit of muck in there, isn't there? Oh, what else have we got in here? Bit of paper, that might have been causing a clog. Is that wallpaper? I'm just wondering if it's been used. That could be the lining paper from plasterboard, you know. I think it's going to be filthy inside. Ooh. I do have a new activator body, but I think that activator body, it's a bit unusual in green, isn't it? The brushes seem pretty good. Actually, I think that's going to be okay. Just going to take it apart, clean it, lube it up, and I think that'll be working a little bit better. Now I'm going to get a new belt from upstairs because it obviously does need one before I do a quick demo. In fact, this is the second video I've made today. This follows a vintage suction cleaner which didn't manage to pick up some of the sand. There's remnants of this orange sand in the carpet, so I'll go over. Oh dear, Qualtex belts, yuck. I think I can do better than that. I've got a Hoover one somewhere. Right. I'm a little bit... The man said it worked, but, you know... And it's been picked, it's had something moist in here. I've gone over some moisture, which has made it damp in here, and all the dirt has sort of stuck to it. Let's just remove this. Oh dear. Ooh. Get that bit of muck out. I'm not going to go full refurb in this video. This is just a quick necessary clean. Right. I'll just go and... Oh, I've got a vacuum there. Surprisingly, I have more than one vacuum in this room at the moment, so I'll just quickly vac this out. I'm not going to clean it, I'm just going to vac out the big bits, pop this belt guard back in, and go upstairs and get myself a new belt. I'm back. Did you miss me? I've only just got these. Pack of 10, and they were priced at £5 something for 10. You normally expect to pay that for 2. Now they say Hoover original, but whether they're the same sort of standard as the belts that would have been fitted. But it says turbo. I'm assuming they are Turbopower 1 belts. I think they're supposed to be. It does say Hoover on them. And I think they are Turbopower 1. Here's the old belt to compare. They're the same width. But you can see the new belt in the middle there. The old belt has stretched considerably. If you collect vacuums, as some of you obviously do, when you're storing them away for long periods of time, if you're not going to use them, and you can slip the belt off if they are a belted vacuum. Hang on, I've got to vacuum this out first. Slip the belt off the pulley, leave it loose inside the machine, and then it won't stretch, because it'll stretch even when it's not being used. So it'll save you having to put a new belt in every time you take your old cleaner out for a quick spin. Just going to vacuum up this mess. Okay, that will do for the purpose of the video, just so we can see that it still works. So I'm just sliding the new belt over the pulley. Oh, I've got to put this part in first. That just slots in. Make sure it's located properly. Now we come the part where we have a bit of stretching to do. It's very difficult doing it in order for you to see it, but anyway. Oh dear, you've got to locate the agitator into each recess. One's oblong and one's circular. Much easier to, oh there we go, much easier to do it when you're facing the machine and not behind it. Right, so once that's in place, which it is, check that it's rotating correctly, which it is, and then we'll pop the base plate back on, but this time locating it under the lugs at the front first to make sure. There we go. Now, I didn't check that the slider, let me just show you, there's a little slider here which closes off when you're using the cleaning tools. That seems to be working as it should. the spring is okay. Obviously everything will be a lot smoother and nicer when it's cleaned up. It has a new bag fitted. I think that's it. Okay, so whoops, we've got 5 screws. As I said, I'm quite pleased in the end that the seller brought this cleaner to my door, because had he posted it, I think I'd have been showing you a Hoover Turbopower with a lot of broken parts, especially the wheels, and some other bits would have fallen off it or been smashed, which happens quite a lot, unfortunately, when you're buying any old things, vintage things, especially when the seller don't realise the value of them. They just throw them in a box. Fortunately, most, as you know if you watch my channel, most vacuums are packed fairly well. So it's still rotating freely, so there we go. We're all ready for a demo. As long as the motor sounds okay, it should pick up pretty well. Looking at the bellows here, we can see the extent of muck that was on this cleaner. As I said, the seller did wipe it down before bringing it, and I think he must have wiped it before putting a photograph of it on eBay. But there's absolutely loads of this dust, if you can see it. The bellows look okay, but I do have quite a few new bellows if I need to replace them. Okay, and the sticker is coming off. That needs a bit of glue to stick it down, the rating sticker, but we'll have a closer look at that. There it is. Zoom in on that, shall we, and we'll have a look at the model. And I'm not sure if we can date it from this. So it's a Hoover model U1060-001. The serial number is 376-400-75-9751-0859, I think. Made in EC, but I think these would have still been made in Cambuslang, Scotland. And it is a PCEE 530 to 575 watts, Pmax 580 to 630 watts, so it does go over the stated 600 watts. Here's the top of the cleaner with a rather attractive new font. Not sure what that's called. Thank you to Glyn for telling me what the font was called on the Hoover Spirit I unboxed a while ago. This obviously has changed from the original font, but there'll be a name for that. If you know, comment below. So we've got brushed edge cleaning, a 4-position height control, well 5 because it includes tools. So you've got, of course, the low setting for your lowest pile carpets, the medium, which I believe is the recommended setting for your hard floors. Well, it's actually for short. I'd say the one below is for very short pile. Then you've got short pile. Then you've got medium pile. Then long pile. And finally, to use the tools, you have to move it into the tool position, because apart from raising the wheels as high as they'll go so the brushes aren't rubbing on the carpet, it also moves that little shutter across the air path so the tool suction comes out through the hose rather than through the base of the cleaner. Just pop it back down for now. We still have the Royal Warrant printed on these cleaners at this time. Okay, total system means Hoover just put on a hose willy-nilly on the side to offer you very poor suction through it. Obviously, look, oh, they can see the other side. Look at that. I think the whole cleaner was absolutely covered. So I think some of you are probably thinking it's not going to sound too good when I switch it on. I'm not thinking it is either. Got a 2-tone hose there. So this is a stretch hose. It's a small bore diameter hose. Will not reach up a standard flight of stairs, I can tell you that now. You could buy an optional stair cleaning hose that just fitted onto this, which would have extended it enough to fit up the stairs to go up to the top. Again, we've got another line of shame showing its real condition underneath the single plastic wand, which nests into the side of the machine, and the hose just fits over the holder just at the top there and then pushes into the, oh, stuff's coming out of that. Dear, oh, there's a great big pile of muck. Now, need to put the hose back in the socket, the other end, so that stays securely in place. And if we turn the cleaner and show you its backside, I was glad to see, which is why I decided to buy this, I was glad to see it has all the tools, all the original tools. A lot of the time the tools are missing, or at least one of the tools are missing. They're dirty, but I think they'll clean up well. So we've got your, quite nice, I do like this, your furniture nozzle, your furnishings and your stairs and things, curtains. They're all pretty hard to put in and hard to take out. So it's a wonder why they got lost. Perhaps people didn't want to put them back in. There's your dusting brush. Very dirty, but a bit of a soak in biological powder. We'll soon sort that one out. And your crevice tool there, a little bit short, but not as bad as some of the modern ones we get. Now, budget this cleaner certainly was, because Hoover even did away with the lower cord hook that often snapped. I do have a generic black one. I think you can replace them. So that panel will come off, and you can put the cord storage hook onto it, because at the top we do have the single hook, and surprisingly it does rotate. You'd think they'd just put a fixed hook there. There's no real need for it to rotate, so basically you coil the cable up yourself and just shove it on the top of that hook to store it away. Also, another way that Hoover made this a little bit cheaper to manufacture, instead of having the switch here, there's a blanking piece. Instead of having the switch on the handle, which means it had to have some wiring in the handle and a plug and socket arrangement to connect up the electricity, so that was more cost to produce and to assemble. So they did away with that on this basic model and put the rocker switch here at the top of the bag housing. And again, another way Hoover made this machine cheaper was to do away with the air freshener feature. On earlier models there would have been a little lever to control the aroma that emitted from the machine, but obviously, as I've explained before, that did nothing. But anyway, it was there, it looked cool. They've blanked it off with this little Hoover badge. And further up, just before we get to the bag release pad, or should I say bag door release pad, we've got in very small silver writing 600, denoting the wattage of the cleaner. So here is the door release pad. You just press down and the door hinges open to reveal what looks like a generic dust bag. So it's all very dusty inside. There is actually some dirt in that. They're quite a bit shorter actually, maybe 3 or 4 centimeters by the looks. They don't actually fit to the bottom, so yuck. When I do a proper demo of this, I'll be fitting a fleece bag, those H18 fleecy bags. But the genuine bags that Hoover want you to use are code H4 as donated. What's the word I'm thinking of? I'm getting so confused in my old age. Denoted. Edit that, Rog, cut that bit out. They'll never know that you're going doolally tap. Right, we'll start that again. So yes folks, can't be bothered. Look, let's do it all rough and ready. Come on. You don't mind, do you, if I do a bit of zooming? So yes, this label here shows you the bag to choose, that you should choose, and obviously here's the bag support tube. Push fit, that's all it does. There's nothing much to see in there, is there? Just a load of dust. Years of abuse this cleaner's probably had. I am surprised at the fact that it's completely intact. I always had the impression, because I don't think I ever bought these when they were new, by the time this machine came out they'd really gone cheap and very, very disposable. But this, to my surprise, feels pretty sturdy. There's nothing broken on it. Everything is intact. So all in all, it's pretty good. I think it's going to clean up. Looks pretty good now, doesn't it? But it's going to clean up even better than this. Okay, I've shown you around the machine. I've got to do what I've been putting off, because I was really pleased with this when I got it last night, but I hadn't switched it on then, and I'm about to switch it on now for you good folks watching. Now, because the cable has been repaired in several places with some black insulating tape, I'm going to be a little bit careful with how I handle this. Really, you shouldn't do it. If you see a cable that's damaged, you shouldn't really plug the machine in unless you know what you're doing. Just don't continue to use. I mean, this would have been used by the owner with the repairs. That's not the way to repair. If your mains cable on any appliance has become damaged, even if only a small amount of the internal insulation is showing, the safest thing is to replace the whole cable. If you can't do it and you want to keep using the appliance, have it replaced by a qualified person. Right, I think it's in the on position at the switch. I'm not sure though. Oh, I think this is going to be noisy somehow, but we will see. I don't think it's going to sound like we know a Turbopower to normally sound like. Okay, here goes. Indeed, it doesn't. Yes, it certainly doesn't sound very healthy, does it? But I think what I will discover when I open this vacuum up is an awful lot of that dust coating the complete internal parts. Just be careful, Roger, where you're holding this cable. I don't like doing this. Not the safest thing to do. Let's move it out the way. I'm going to give it a bit of a push. I mean, it certainly probably has the old dry bearings problem. Not just the motor bearings, I expect the agitator. I'm going to put it on the middle setting. I expect the agitator bearings will benefit from a replacement or an oiling. Okay, going to give it a bit of a push. Well, it's not that bad. Obviously it needs improvement, and this would have sounded different to the original Turbopowers having a higher wattage motor, so it probably sounds quite similar to how it should have sounded, but there's just that little, there's some noises that it's making that aren't quite how they should be. I'm just going to judge the old suction through the hose, which I think will be pretty diabolical, and it'll probably be even noisier now. Apologies to headphone users there. Perhaps I should have put a warning before switching this cleaner on, but if you watch my channel you should be aware that I turn vacuum cleaners on, and sometimes they're very, very noisy, as this one is. But it's not bad, it does function. I'm going to put down a little bit of a test for it. It does have a new belt, the agitator looks okay, it's got a new but generic bag in, so I think it's going to pick up fairly well. The hose suction is appalling. Do you want to see what the hose suction is? I think I've got my suction gauge around here somewhere. Here it is, folks. Well, place your bets. What do we reckon? 20? 40? 60? No. I think it's going to be, well, it's certainly be under 40. Right. Here goes. Let's hope we're in focus. Let me just try and position the hose end over the hole. Can we see that, folks? I think we can. Okay. Let's see what this Turbopower registers on this suction gauge. Well, that was just over 20, which, well, you know, it's not that bad, is it? But where these cleaners excelled is carpet cleaning, because obviously you don't really need as much suction power for cleaning carpets when you have an upright, because you have the help of the rotating brush and in some cases beater bars, or in this case beater pads. So yeah, tool suction okay for your lightweight cleaning, your upholstery, but take this out to your car and expect it to clean your dirty car mats, then I think you'll be very disappointed. Okay, finally, just to end this video, that popped down pretty quick. It sprung back. Before I end this video, I'll put down some dirt and we'll see how well this Turbopower cleans in its unrefurbished state, and then at some point in my life, hopefully this year, I'll get down to it, give it a good clean, and we'll have a look at that motor, take it out, give it well, you can't really strip them down very well in these, but I can clean it as much as I can and lubricate it, and it should be purring, well, roaring a little bit better than it is now. So let's get some dirt down, folks. I'm just going to start with a bit of this coloured sand to represent grit. Let's rub it in a bit. There's also some glitter. This is a leftover from Christmas. If you remember my Advent videos of December 2018, this coloured sand featured quite a lot, so I'm rubbing it in, so a lot of this sand is now disappearing into this short pile carpet. The glitter is remaining more or less on the top, but ooh, let's have a go then. Might as well just do it now. Strike while the iron's hot, so to speak. Well, it's not done bad, though it hasn't made a complete clean sweep. I can see remains of the glitter, a few bits of the glitter, and of course there is some of the sand left in the pile. A couple more passes over and that should pick that up. Obviously, once this machine's refurbished, we might have a slightly better result. Okay, let's clean the rest of this up, Roger, and put down a bit more dirt. Okay, I know it's a bit late, but headphone users, please turn down your volume now. So all in all, I think this Turbopower has done a pretty sterling job, and even the motor is sounding a little bit better as it's warming up. Perhaps some of the grease in the bearings is sort of loosening and softening, should I say, rather than loosening, and making it sound a bit better. It still sounds a bit rough, but I think once it's been cleaned up properly, it'll sound pretty good. Hello Molly, yes, Molly has come, she's been hiding. There's always a dog to interrupt you when you're cleaning. So yes, it's done a good job, but eagle-eyed viewers will notice something in the background that it hasn't picked up. And that is, of course, the larger particles. Most of the breakfast cereals have been snow ploughed. There are a few smaller particles there as well. So what I'm going to try and do, actually, I'm going to pop it into the long pile setting. We'll just see if we can pick it up like that. You never know, it might work. Well, there you go, that's the end of today's video. This Turbopower sounds a bit rough and noisy, but still picks up very well for a machine of its age, whatever age that may be, who knows. It's from the 90s. I'm pleased to have it. They're becoming less and less common, the Turbopower ones, partly because they break. In fact, if you buy one on eBay and have it delivered, you might find when you receive your precious Turbopower that there are certain items smashed, notably the wheels, which are very hard to get hold of. The back wheels on these, you can't get them for love nor money. You have to try and find a spares machine to donate its wheels, and often they don't match. But these are generic black, so it's not too bad. I'm really pleased with this. It's, you know, it's nothing special, it's nothing flash, but it is still part of the old era when Hoover were made in the UK, and for that I think they need to be preserved. If you have any comments or questions about this striking red Hoover Turbopower, please comment below, and I'll see you all for the next video very soon. Bye for now.